which was kind of nice because it made it go by real quick.
Yeah.
Because I picked up hockey here and then got that basketball gig with Nova Southeastern.
Very cool.
Made it did not feel like I was waiting around for the next season. Welcome back to Colorado Springs. USL Championship football or soccer is back here in the wonderful state of Colorado as we've got a great matchup between the Colorado Springs Switchbacks and Orange County. Well, for one side in Colorado Springs, an embarrassment of riches on the attack, but of course, always highlighting the way is the former Golden Boot winner, Haji Berry.
The legend of Haji Berry continues to grow both on and off the field. He's the emotional leader of this team.
Well, on the other side of things, as far as Orange County is concerned, they'll be looking to slow him down as well as his many offensive counterparts. And one of the players they'll be looking to do that both defensively and maybe doing some facilitating offensively, Miko Kuningas.
The quintessential box-to-box midfielder. He's going to create opportunities. He's going to run from sideline to sideline and get on the defensive end as well.
Should be a fun one coming up. The beautiful game is here, presented by Widener at Widener Field. Like I said before, Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC versus Orange County SC, a rematch of one of the playoff games last season. Welcome one and all to the broadcast. My name is Mark Schoenster. Alongside me, Ryan Davis on the call. It's going to be a great game today. A lot of interesting storylines to talk about, but the first thing we need to discuss is that outside of all the storylines, outside of all the plot threads that one could put into this game, these are going to be two really good teams this season.
Absolutely. The acquisitions these two teams made, Orange County with Eric Kubo Torres, has them shot all the way to #1 mark in the preseason power rankings. And Colorado Switchbacks, like you just mentioned, an abundance of talent is going to make sure that they battle for 3 points every time they take the field. That's why they're in the top 11, even before the ball is kicked in the season.
Not only have they acquired some more offensive pieces to accompany Haji Berry, but some defensive pieces to bolster up the defensive side of things. Well, Orange County's #1 for a couple of reasons, not just because of their acquisitions, but because they were at the top of the USL world just last season. A fantastic showing last time we got to see them play.
Richard Chaplow, the English manager that took over halfway through the season, came in and restructured the mentality of this team, which meant they can go into the Rowdies Nation and get a big win in the Champions Final.
Well, I mean, we talk about their history, we talk about their acquisitions. Let's highlight the one that really hit the headlines throughout the offseason, Eric El Cubo Torres, another goal-scoring threat and opportunity player for the Orange County side.
I think he's also going to give them a presence in that last third where he can hold the ball up for them and allow the midfielders to run around him, which is going to take a lot of pressure off of the midfielders in holding possession in the hardest place to hold possession, which is the last third of the field.
Well, he could score goals. He looks to be a great leader on this team and someone who's going to look to stop him on the other end. Jeff Caldwell, Colorado Springs had some woes between the sticks last season, couldn't quite get what they needed from that position, so they call up Jeff Caldwell. He looks to be a great upgrade in that spot.
Very few keepers have the full package. He has the full package. He's intelligent and athletic, which makes him just a handful. As you get past that back three, you have this guy to contend with to get the ball past him.
And that's what makes Jeff Caldwell our player to watch, presented by Modelo. Well, with that, we have got an exciting 90 minutes, a high-octane offense coming against one of the best defenses in the entire league. It is Orange County SC visiting Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC, and it's coming up next on ESPN Plus after this break.
Yeah, Sarah, Abby says you've had the drunken goat?
I've had that cheese before. It's really good.
What does the drunken goat say, Sarah?
I don't know. I don't have anything.
Not what you expect. Watch Fox 21 Local Morning News right now, starting at 5 a.m.
Nikki Shin doesn't know it yet. There's a girl out there, her cousin. She's the key to everything. It is time.
You know how we've been waiting for the other shoe to drop? I think it just did.
Who are you?
I'm family.
Kung Fu.
The transition from winter to summer can bring some of our wildest weather of the year, from severe thunderstorms in the plains to major winter storms along the Front Range and in the mountains. We've had tornado warnings and blizzard warnings at the same time. The Fox 21 Storm Team isn't here to scare. We're here to help you prepare. We provide useful information you need in a way that respects your time and intelligence. The Fox 21 Storm Team.
And we're back at Widener Field as both teams begin to take the pitch. Today's player walkout is presented and sponsored by Children's Hospital Colorado. Mark Schoenster on the call here alongside me, Ryan Davis. We're going to take a peek at these starting lineups here in a minute, giving you a chance to break down what is the first 11 for both sides on this team. As Widener Field, the lights are flashing, the fans are getting ready, and here is the first look at the starting lineup presented by Phil Long. Is it a 4-3-3? Is it a 3-4-3? You decide.
I think it's going to be a 3-4-3, and I think Malik Johnson, number 7, new acquisition coming in from Real Monarchs, is going to be an absolute handful on the wings. He's going to create a lot of space for the guys in the middle and take some pressure off of Haji Barry, number 10, who's going to drop back into that midfield and try to create some offense for Angelina and Amo.
Well, you talk about all these different pieces. Galena, you've got Amo, you've got Zach Zandy, Cam Lindley. Even Jimmy Ockford were some names that were brought up by head coach Brendan Burke this week as guys who could score some goals, make an impact, and just who knows where those goals will come from. If all the focus is on Haji Berry, then you're going to be in trouble. And we are underway here from Widener Field. The USL Championship season begins for Orange County and for Colorado Springs. On the Orange County side of things, looked like they were going to run a 4-4-2. And sitting at the top, of course, Eric Torres, and alongside him, Milan Ilaski getting the start, which is a great chance for the 22-year-old to stamp his foot and make an impact in this game here today.
You know, Mark, I love that. Everyone expects the usuals to start. It's the ones who come out in practice, who earn their spot on the team, are the ones that get picked, not the ones who have the name on the back of their shirts. It's how you play on the field through Monday through Friday, then you get the nod on Saturday.
Here's Galena on the ball right now, working down that left channel. And that's given away that compact Orange County defense. It is a tough nut to crack. Now Barry over in the left corner. Working with Galena, looking to serve Orange County their first loss in 10 games now. It was a 9-game winning streak to end the season. Of course, if you want to look at the record books, 2 of those games are going to count as draws for the head coach and for the program when you look at the history books. But winning 2 games in the playoffs through penalty kicks was just a storybook run last season.
Speaking about playoffs, Mark, the last game that Colorado played in a recognized sort of setting against this Orange County team, losing 1-0 in the playoffs. Let me tell you something, you're back at home, you're going to have some extra mustard on the tackles tonight as they try to get some payback.
Left a sour taste. They were a man up for the majority of that game and still couldn't find a ball into the back of the net. That 2021 run for Orange County, got the chance to talk to Coach Chaplow for the first time since that miraculous run, or if you want to call it miraculous, you could say it was well earned. He said that we wanted to set, we weren't expecting to be a leader at the start, Chaplow said. He mentioned that it was weird because it was a mixture of feeling privileged as well as bittersweet seeing a friend go from the spot. But the fact of the matter is he turned a group that was lacking some confidence into a group that felt they could beat any team on any single day. And we were talking before the game that this is a team that when you're playing in single game elimination, you do not want to play Orange County.
Absolutely not. Richard Chaplow has played in the highest standards in English football and in world football. And he's brought that experience to this Colorado team. And now the expectations of these players is to play fundamentals for 93 minutes, not 90 minutes. And that makes them so tough to beat on any given day.
Orange County holding possession right now. We'll keep it on this throw-in. On the Colorado side of things, worth noting both of these coaches, it is officially their second season at the helm for Brendan Burke. It's his second full season, of course. Richard Chaplow coming in halfway through last year and looking to steer the ship, and he did more than steer the ship. But on Brendan Burke's side of things, he's had 1 year. He's had the chance to reflect on it. He mentioned that they wanted to set an intensity last season and set that as the foundation, as the standard. And he mentioned that, unfortunately, though, that energy, that intensity resulted in some looseness on the defensive half. So they'll look to tidy things up this season and not only be a high-octane offense, but also not be so porous on defense.
Yeah, what Brendan Burke offers to these players is that up-tempo, just enjoyable soccer, high possession, and allowing players to get into attacking places on the field. So they have fun, not only during practice, but on Saturdays as well. And Brendan Burke has a huge advantage with his players with that style of play.
This corner kick right here is brought to you by McDivitt Law Firm. We are in your corner. And the one to take it is Cam Lindley. Wafts this one inside. It doesn't hit a single body, actually hits the grass, or the turf to better describe it. And this one will be chipped out for a goal kick for Orange County. That's a strange circumstance, seeing a corner kick actually hit the ground right around the penalty area.
Yeah, this is the first game of the season. There will be some lapses in performances in the box, and it's the ones who can capitalize is going to walk away with the 3 points tonight.
You've got two teams that are going to have wildly different approaches to that, because you would think capitalizing off of opportunities, that's a Colorado Springs offense that is full of players who could do that. But this is a very clinical Orange County side that has done that. They did that on the run last year where they took the chances given to them. So who can figure out the flow of the game first, trying to get their feet underneath them. Exhibitions can only accomplish so much. It's until you get into those real games that you could really figure yourself out.
You know, as much as we expect Cubo Torres to settle in and have an impact on this team, what Ronaldo Dumas did last season is bar none other than Haji Berry and maybe Sebastian Guenzati over in the Rowdies as well. No other forward had the same sort of impact that he had on the field other than those other guys. That's a serious echelon to be grouped with, and that's how good Dumas was for such a long period of time last season.
Well, Ronaldo Demis, for those who are watching and maybe thinking, well, you were talking so highly about him, well, where is he? He's not in the starting lineup. He's also not on the bench today. Unfortunately, there are some issues at the Haitian embassy. It's shut down, which is keeping him with some visa problems, so he's not allowed to play yet. They're waiting for him to get back into the swing of things and get back with the club, as Colorado Springs is taking it down the pitch. it was kept in play.
First example of what Malik Johnson brings to this team. 1v1 offensive play, and it's going to make your wingbacks or your fullbacks get pinned all the way back, and it's going to make your midfielders have to double down on that side just to stop Malik Johnson.
In our first words with our official here today, Malik Badawi is the man in the center of the pitch who will look to keep the peace between these two sides, and I'm sure keeping the peace may be a tougher challenge given maybe some of the intensity, especially from one side going to Orange County and Colorado Springs. I'm sure that some messages want to be sent here tonight.
You know, we talk about, first game jitters for players. What about the officials? They come out with a really high intense game like this one. It's going to take them a time to settle down.
And that's going to earn a whistle. And that's Kobe Henry, the 17-year-old defender, and he's going to get a yellow card. Early booking in the game, so the jitters didn't keep our head official from letting that one loose.
Kobe Henry saying that's his first infringement, but look at the type of infringement. The ball is gone. He's literally grabbing Galina, and the ball is way too far from him. Easy call for the referee, easy card as well.
This caution is sponsored by Diverse's Health, mental health and well-being for all. Remember to take a moment to breathe. So Kobe Henry with the first yellow card of the season for Orange County. And we've got a free kick for Colorado Springs. So this is a moment where you can get the Jimmy Ockford, Dennis Erdman involved on the set piece. Those are bigger bodies who could get in there and maybe would be quite the funny guy to score the first goal for Colorado Springs this season.
You want to know why those guys take a long time to take the free kick? It's to make sure their center backs get all the way up.
In swinging ball, it punched away. Patrick Rakovsky getting his hands on it for the first time. We want to talk about postseason heroes. Rakovsky with the penalty save in that final really came alive in the late stretch of the season. He's just as deserving of recognition as the Ronaldo Demises of the world.
Rakovsky, born and bred in Germany, and he comes from a long line of German goalkeepers. They know how to create them over there, and he is the prototypical German goalkeeper. Mistake-free, and it's going to take something special to get past him.
Yeah, there's something in the water over there in Germany for those keepers.
My God.
And here the drumming and the thumping of the Colorado Springs faithful. Their first chance to see their players live once again. Kuninga is able to jump on that one for a moment. Here's Torres with a couple of touches. He gets tripped up by Haji Berry.
And Mark, like we talked about before the game with Torres, we all expected him to score goals. Look how he drops back and holds the ball up and allows his players to get into the play and allow Orange County to get possession. So important for number 9 to do that for his team when you're so far from the box.
El Cubo is his nickname. Coming over from Atlanta United, has quite the resume of experiences across the MLS and other leagues. There's a reason he was one of the marquee signings this offseason in the USL.
International pedigree. When you go out and you play for your country on an international format, it's a different sort of atmosphere, and then you bring back that experience into the club atmosphere. It is priceless. Your game grows in stature.
I want to talk about players who maybe deserve to get some more international recognition. Haji Berry, 25 goals last season, was able to just blow out any other competing striker across the league in that regard.
You know, we say 25 goals. Let's put it in perspective. 25 goals in 32 games. I mean, the percentage of goal per game is astronomical. That's Messi and Ronaldo like.
And the crazy thing too is then you would think, how does one step up and raise the bar after such a season? But according to Brendan Burke, he's had no reason to push Haji. He's come in really fit. Apparently, he's the guy that a lot of the team looks to now. He's really developing as a leader, and he's taken that mantle naturally. And the last thing that Coach Burke had on that topic is that not only, though, do we expect him to play just as well as he did last season, but we've added some weapons around him, so if you want to keep all your eyes on Haji Berry, good luck.
Absolutely, and Elvis Amo has been added to this team. I mean, 11 goals in 20 games. That's a goal every other game that he had last season, which allows Haji Berry to now drop back into that midfield role and create for players like Galina and Amo. So it just shows how much he has grown as a player.
He's not just camping in the penalty box. As here's Torres taking it, or at least chasing it, down the pitch. So far, Orange County mainly just possessing it where they're comfortable, which is something that we're all too accustomed to.
Yep. You know, we talk about the acquisitions in the offseason. What about the guys who departed? Orange County losing Kevin Alston, that veteran presence at the back. It could be a tough role to fill for some of these players.
We'll have to see if someone else is able to fill in those shoes, or maybe if they just have to adapt and play a slightly different style, because, you know, sometimes players are irreplaceable. This one knocked around a little bit. Just brought up how Orange County hasn't had a lot of possession in the attacking half. That's actually something that is impressed Brendan Burke when observing Orange County. He said that their willingness to sit in the box is impressive. And he said that they're a really well-balanced team, but he did acknowledge that he wasn't sure if Ronaldo Demis was going to play, and if he didn't play, then their complexion does change, and we'll see just how potent on offense they are without the likes of Demis. But plug in Eric Torres, maybe you won't be too well off or too badly off.
But what Ronaldo Damas gave you was that raw speed and finishing up top. So when teams like Colorado commit to their high possession, you can actually turn the ball over and get a quick strike with a Damas. I don't think Torres brings that quickness that Damas does, but he brings a different facet. So Milanilovsky is going to have to fill that role of playing off of Torres' shoulder and become that lethal striker, and not that one complete package that Damas brought last season.
And also, I mean, on top of that, when you get into a goal-scoring form like Demis is when at the end of the year, I mean, that's tough to replicate. But even then, we wouldn't expect that from him to come into the season in Demis, but you know that he's capable of doing it. But an excellent challenge, though, for Olaski in that regard, to get the chance to come in, fill in those shoes, and show what he's capable of. Here's some open space for Kaningas on the right side. This ball comes swinging in, headed up into the air, and a little bit precarious, but cleared away by Colorado Springs. Took a couple of touches inside the 18 to get rid of it.
First real snippet of Kaningas getting some room. You can see the technique, the delivery, just picture perfect. But they don't have an aerial presence, and Kubo Torres is going to have to really elevate to make some of those crosses work.
There's a couple of first looks at Jeff Caldwell coming from Todd, North Carolina. Was last with Hartford Athletic before making the trip across the country to Colorado Springs. And the offside flag is going to fly up. Elvis Samo trying to jump on that opportunity with less bodies going forward for Orange County.
Well, it's almost 15 minutes, and Elvis Samo has finally gotten just a touch of the ball. He's probably going to want to come a little deeper, get into the game. You know, as much as they are professionals, they are human beings. They want to touch the ball and get some confidence going.
Yeah, especially in the beginning of the season when you haven't had the chance to get that first competitive touch.
Yep.
I want to know how it feels at your feet.
You could just see Haji Berry dropping back. And look at the two. You see Galina on his left and Mo to his right. That's going to be a common situation for Colorado going along this 2022 season.
Kaningas getting tugged by Cam Lindley there. A young midfielder who already has a wealth of experience. They switch it over to the left side. This one popped in and not on the mark to connect with anybody, and we'll just go out for a goal kick. So one of the big focuses for Orange County in this game, and something that they're looking to get through, and they're already halfway through it, is staying alive in the first 30 minutes of the game. According to Coach Chaplow, he said that we need to be organized, difficult to break down. But the big thing is the temperature, the turf, and last and most importantly, the altitude. He said that we can prepare our guys all we want as far as playing in the altitude and letting them know what's coming, but you don't know what it's like to play in it until you get there and you realize just how different it feels to breathe and play in that sort of condition.
It is so hard to play when you cannot breathe, and I've seen the best of teams wilt in high altitudes.
So we got another corner kick. This one won by Galena. This is a corner kick brought to you by Pikes Peak National Bank, Bank Well, Be Well, and Cheer Loud. So a second corner kick for Colorado Springs. So another take at this. Swings inside, knocked away. Came off an Orange County head. So it'll be Colorado possession, Colorado Springs possession.
Mark, a quick snippet of how compact Orange County is. You see Malik Johnson getting the ball out there, and the orange shirts immediately pick up their markers in the black. There's no outlet for him to go other than back. And that's just the greatness of Richard Chaplow. He's going to make sure they're physical, tough, and disciplined in the middle. You're going to give up a little bit of room, a little bit of width to Malik Johnson and Tristan Hodge outside. But when that ball comes back in, the orange shirts are going to be there and they're going to be battling.
Yeah, the moment that ball went out for a throw, you noticed just there was a sea of orange in the middle of the pitch, swallowing Colorado Springs.
Oof.
And that is a tough infraction, and that yellow card came out very fast for Haji Berry. So a yellow card apiece for each side.
But you said it though, it's Haji Barry. He's coming all the way back. We talk about growing in stature in the offseason, becoming the leader of this team, coming all the way back and putting a body on Kuningas when Kuningas had a head of steam running at the last center back. So yes, he goes into the referee's book, but it shows you how committed he is for the Colorado Switchbacks.
Well, a yellow card has been issued to Colorado Springs for Haji Berry. This caution is sponsored by Diversus Health, mental health and well-being for all. Remember to take a moment to breathe. I think this is one of those moments, though, where you can call that a bit of a professional foul, and given the circumstances, you take a yellow card there. Kuningas was running with a head full of steam and was about to have a good look on goal.
Yeah, you get that pace against a standstill centre-back. If he gets into that box, he makes a move. Now the centre-back cannot tackle. If he does, he goes over. It's a penalty kick.
So a free kick on Orange County's side of things. You've got Ilaski and Kuningas there. Kuningas scored off a free kick in the championship game. And he'll take it here, and that one gets engulfed by the wall of Colorado Springs. And that one's well stepped on. Maybe a chance for a breakaway and transition for Colorado Springs, but there's nobody else there. As a matter of fact, this one's not even going to make it that far.
I tell you what, Galena, Amo, and Barry on a counter-attack is like 3 greyhounds running at you. Yeah, good luck keeping up with that.
Now so you got to hold your breath.
And then you have Malik Johnson as well.
Yeah, there's a talented bevy of capable strikers that are following right behind them. So if you get through that first line, you've got another line of players who can all put their laces through it rather nicely as well. That was a hopeful ball going forward. He's looking to connect with Eric Torres. Check that. That was Seth Sipley. 20 minutes into this game. So if you're running on the Richard Chaplow clock, that's 20 of the first 30 minutes transpired. He wanted it to be 0-0 after the first 30 minutes, let his players get used to it. Because, of course, on the other side of things, you're at the severe disadvantage of playing a Colorado Springs side that are playing in this altitude all the time. A couple of touches, couldn't get through the back line. Well handled by Colorado Springs.
Even though Colorado has won the eye test in the first 20 minutes of the game, this is exactly what Coach Richard Chaplow wants. His team is in the game. Not much efforts on goal so far. Everybody's still confident, and they're all, you know, they have not run themselves ragged in the first 20 minutes. They're very much in it. And I think this is the perfect away performance, which you saw in the final against the Rowdies, disciplined, taking advantage of mistakes made. And that's what Colorado has to look out for with this Orange County team. As much as you have the ball, if you make a mistake and turn the ball over, look how quickly they get right down into your third.
Well, this one's given away by Kasipli. Here's Tristan Hodge, and he'll give it to his left for Galena. Galena had some room to work with, but there are several Orange County players between him and his accompanying striker, Haji Berry. Lindley gives this one back, and I mean, you talk about how far back Haji Berry's going. He's along with the back line right there.
He's almost like an attacking midfielder. Here he is showing for the ball again. Oh, look at that.
Well, that was ambitious. Looking to connect on that right side.
The fact that he can drop back, and you have Malik Johnson coming up his right. You have Elvis Amo turning into a natural center forward, and then you have Galena coming up at the left. That's just weaponry. Artillery, they call that.
Pick your poison.
Yes.
Got to open up your trench coat, and you got all the assortment of weapons there.
Yes.
We got another corner kick. Cam Lindley going to go take it. This corner kick brought to you by McDivitt Law Firm. We are in your corner. So Lindley, the designated corner kick taker for the most part for Colorado Springs. A low driving ball headed away immediately.
Didn't work out there, but I love the pace of the delivery and actually the accuracy at the first post. Nobody made the run at the first post, though. I think it was a good delivery.
Zandy gets a touch on it there, giving possession back to Orange County. They'll have to throw that in just to clear it, but it's won back quickly by Orange County, only for them to get the throw in once again. So we talked a little bit about the leadership that's being developed by Haji Berry, another acquisition this offseason that has provided a completely different perspective and voice is Dennis Erdman, who's at the opposite end of the pitch in the back line now. Opposite, that's a bit of a stretch given we saw the two right next to each other just moments ago. But Coach Burke was saying that he brings such a unique voice to the locker room. I mean, having played with some massive clubs over in Germany. And he said that there's sort of a mutual respect between him and Haji Berry, talking about Dennis Erdman. And he talked, it's a very, very intense environment at practices. The players, the leaders of the entire team are continually pushing and challenging each other to not only play better, but to think harder, to take in all these different perspectives and angles to the game.
I love how committed Colorado is in correcting their shortcomings. You talk about Dennis Erdman, Mark. I mean, that is someone who's going to come in there physically and lead on the pitch. And like you just mentioned, in the locker room too, he's going to hold himself and other players accountable. The German way is the team way, and he's going to make sure everyone is playing as a unit, Dennis Erdman. And then this guy, the guy with the ball, Jeff Caldwell, the goalkeeper. Talk about over-correcting. That guy is unbelievable between the posts. So they certainly addressed their shortcomings from last season. And Colorado Springs earned the right to be in the top 10 or top 11 for the preseason polls.
And you talk about seeing a problem and trying to fill the hole with like liquid steel to make sure that not only are you fixing the problem, that maybe potentially can also become a strength for your team.
Liquid steel, is that what the Terminator was made of in Terminator 2?
I have not the slightest clue.
I think it was liquid steel.
I could have gone with anything there. Liquid steel is just the first thing that popped into my head.
That was good. I like that.
It'll be an Orange County free kick. They'll look to reset things here. And like you mentioned, Colorado Springs may have looked, quote-unquote, the better side. But even with that distinction, Rakovsky and Caldwell neither have been called to do anything too drastic.
No, because they've managed the game in the midfield. The danger areas, which is the middle parts in the last third, have been heavily congested with orange shirts, thus allowing great protection for their goalkeeper and their centre-backs.
Here's Orange County looking to play this one out wide and maybe look to progress forward. Rocha playing it out to his left. Here's the cross. And this one will sit on the top of the net. Jeff Caldwell had to keep his eye on that one, wanted to make sure that one didn't dip anymore, or else that would have been tragic.
Yeah, but symptoms of the first game, though, as the ball went outside, there was just sort of hurried sort of feeling that he had to cross the ball quickly when no one was actually there in the box. As the season starts to wear on, that player will take a touch, wait for the players to push up. There'll be a lot more rhythm in the last third of the field rather than the players feeling hurried and having to create something. Right now, the timing is just not there in the attacking third for both teams. And that is definitely symptoms of the first game of the season.
You can't just have that sharpness in the final 18 without rinsing and repeating, and getting it honed in.
Correct. Gelling is real.
And gelling is a big aspect of the championship run last year that Richard Chaplow mentioned that his team learned about through winning a championship. He said the biggest thing about winning that title last year is we found out what it takes to do it. And he said it starts with the connections in the locker room. So if we want to talk about gelling, he says that is the quintessential #1 thing needed to win a USL championship title, is having that connection in the locker room. As this one's connected to Zandy, no flag goes up. And oh my goodness, that is the first big chance. A lot of bodies with the body language that some flag was going to go up at some point, but Zandy was alone.
Well, Danilo Acosta, the Honduran defender, is now barking at the referee. He completely gambled on that forward being offside, that midfielder rather, coming in late, being offside. Let's take a look here. The ball played in by Tristan Hodge. And look at the turn by Zanley. And
that's fantastic stuff.
You see that save. You always ask for one of those saves from your goalkeeper per game. And Rakovsky answered the bell. Talk about an incredible save.
Another corner kick brought to you by McDivitt Law Firm. We're in your corner. Another low driving ball. Colorado Springs picking it up here. Have some players in the box. The shot skying well off the mark. Malik Johnson putting his laces through it.
Well, he immediately put his hands up to apologize to everyone. Did everything right, got past the first defender, but did not keep his head down. Mark, there's an old saying from my football coach. When the ball hits the back of the net, that's when you're allowed to raise your head, when you hear the crowd roar. If you don't hear the crowd roar, still keep your head down. Clearly, Malik Johnson raised his head too soon, and the ball ended up in Rosie.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Raise your head to hear the crowd roar. A bit more pressure from Orange County here on this possession from the back line for Colorado Springs. Maybe you'll look to force a mistake and create some more opportunities. Also might be a sign that they're starting to get their body integrated to the game. Here's Kobe Henry. He's playing on a yellow. And he's able to draw the foul on that occasion.
Just to let you guys know, that's a defender, Kobe Henry. He just brought that ball down nonchalantly, brushed past the forward who came to tackle him and kept possession. This kid is out of this world. He's just about 18 years old, and he gives the coaching staff a headache because they thought that at 17 years old, he was just going to try to buy playing time. But now he is now asked for and earned a right to get on the field every single game.
Well, that's a sight you don't want to see. Eric Torres, the new acquisition, is down on the grass. This injury stoppage brought to you by Centura Health. He's ailing the lower portion of his back with a bit of a grimace. They'll look to check on him. I didn't see what occurred there, but could have just been a collision away from the ball.
Just judging from his actions, he's talking about the impact on that lower end, almost like the coccyx bone, or the tailbone, as they say.
So they'll walk him off. We'll see if they throw in a substitution or if they're just going to let him try to shake it off. Because the big thing is, if you can get to halftime, then you can really assess what's going on, give you a chance to get a breather, but you still got 15 minutes left. So you don't want a guy who's hampered for that stretch of time.
And it always hurts a little bit more in 30-degree weather.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. Especially when you've been over in Orange County where the weather is always nice.
Yes. Still smelling of suntan lotion.
Oh, that's a ball played for Johnson. He's able to come down with it. Oh, and that's well executed on the defensive end of things. Like a brick wall.
Well, good comeback from Acosta. Malik Johnson is a nightmare on a 1v1, and Acosta played it perfectly.
This one connects with, looks like it's Elvis Amo, but the flag will go up once again. So some of the best looking chances, which, yeah, go figures, have been stopped by flags, except for that one Zach Zandy attempt that many assumed was going to be stopped by a flag. Just trying to get that timing right, slipping by that back line. Another thing that just takes repetitions to get calibrated.
Yep. But Colorado fans will be very happy to see Elvis Amo right up onto the center back, being that forward all the way up the pitch, being that presence in the box. That's going to give Haji Barry and the rest of the midfielders a huge target to work with for this season.
I know the 30-year-old Ghanaian forward. One of those many veteran pieces, and that's another big aspect to this to emphasize, is not only did Colorado Springs bring in some talented players, but they brought in seasoned guys who, you know, they didn't have to worry about honing or harnessing these guys or getting them on the right track. They were going to come in, they were going to do their part, and they were going to understand what it takes to build a winning program.
And let's be honest, if your name is Elvis, you have to be good, right? I mean, come on.
Right.
That's it.
Got to do the number 9 rock. Good touches from Haji Berry in a tight window. Looking to play Amo forward. Maybe too far ahead, and it's escorted all the way to Rakovsky.
Well, that's the experience of Orozco. Didn't have to tackle. Read the pass beautifully. Just got his body in between the ball and the goalkeeper and just shepherded the ball to Rakovsky's hands. Expert defending by Orozco.
And no worry of potentially getting a yellow. So that's a foul drawn by Zach Zandy.
Now, this is what Richard Chaplow talked about, being physical in the midfield. They want to bully the Colorado midfielders and try to get some turnovers in the center circle and then thus get an easy counter-attack. And that's what Brandon Burke is aware about. They can't afford to be pushed around in the center circle, Colorado.
This one knocked out of play for another corner kick. Orange County has not had a single corner. Colorado Springs continues to rack up more and more. And this corner kick is brought to you by Pikes Peak National Bank. Cleared away. Bank well, be well, cheer loud. Second service, bounces around in the grass a little bit. Here's a chance to wind up a shot. It skies over once again. Malik Johnson, a second go in virtually the exact same spot. And that is a prime opportunity.
Malik Johnson suffering from the disease, again, of raising your head too soon. Had all the time in the world to keep his head down and put his laces through it. Well, he did the second part, but he didn't do the first part. His head came up and again allowed Rakovsky and Orange County off the hook with a clear-cut opportunity.
This is an Orange County side that knocked off Colorado Springs in the playoffs last year. So revenge is on the order for Colorado Springs should they be able to take it. According to Brendan Burke, he said that it left a sour taste in all of our mouths. But he said he wouldn't change the way they played in that game, at least in philosophy. And he said, we're going to do the same thing this time around. It's just a matter of execution. And they've got their foot on the gas, but they can't quite test Orange County in the ways that would really get them to sweat some bullets. A couple of good chances. Zach Zandy, 2 Malik Johnson opportunities that he couldn't put in a good spot. That's a good find for Barry. The first one to get there is Rakovsky.
And that's what this front three can give you. Barry, Amo, Galena. They can each turn and create something with each other. Usually it's Barry trying to find the other two. This time it was Elvis and Mo showing and just flicking the ball through to Barry, who, by the way, got 25 goals in 32 games last season.
Yeah, watch out for that guy. You may not know him.
Yeah.
This one finds Galena. He heads it up. Galena inside the 18, plays it on goal, and Colorado Springs fires the first goal in this one, and some acrobatics from Galena. The first goal for the home side this season, and an excellent finish from Michi Galena. It is 1-0 here.
Well, what a way for Colorado to get their first goal. The ball is split right between the fullback and the center back. Henry was beaten on the pass, but look at the finish. You thought you pushed him out wide enough, but a inch perfect finish, just clipping the inside of the post. No chance for Rakovsky, and the home team with a deserved 1-0 lead to this man Galena. 8 goals last season, gets his first in just the first game of the season.
He's back with Colorado Springs after going to LAFC midway through last season, had 2 appearances with the MLS side, and then it was decided that he fit in right here in Colorado Springs, and lo and behold, he's proving it.
That was special. I mean, talk about with his left foot, his weaker left foot, and there's only 2 or 3 inches to work with to beat Rakovsky. Well, he found those 2 to 3 inches, clips the inside of the post. What a finish. That's going to be on Sports Center for about a week straight.
Just a tactful, clinical finish from Galena, coming from the ball from midfield. So not a lot of build-up play, but that's just the kind of potent offense that this Colorado Springs has. And they have another chance here, playing it into the middle, looking for a Mo. This one's popped straight into the air. Clearance is no good. They'll have to give another take at it. And that's also huge for getting that 1-goal lead over Orange County, because it already takes so much discipline to stay in that block, to stay reserved when it's 0-0. But when you're down a goal, makes it so much more challenging mentally as on top of just having that 1-goal disadvantage in the first place.
Mark, goals change games. Now Orange County has to go into the dressing room in 7 minutes and re-talk about a different game plan to get back in the game in the second half. They have to come forward now, take chances to try to find that equalizer. And by the way, they're playing in a high altitude, which they're not used to. So they wanted to stay compact, conserve energy. Now, in the second 45 minutes, they have to go out and try and get a goal going uphill.
And you could see already Colorado Springs not going to put their foot off the gas. There were countless goal-scoring opportunities last year that they weren't able to capitalize off of in the playoff game, so I wouldn't be surprised if till the final whistle, this is the team that is going to continue to attack to try to prove a point against this Orange County side.
You mentioned the direct pass from midfield, and I love that aspect, that they can switch things up with having those 3 types of players up top. They could then split the defense with those guys who have such quick feet. They have so much speed that they can just make that run, beat the center back and the full back, ball played through, and they're in on goal.
Rakovsky will pop that one up into the air towards midfield, and Colorado Springs is winning all of these balls. And Tristan Hodge able to draw another foul. And some frustrating starting to eke out of this Orange County side.
Well, that was Jimmy Ockford coming all the way out to the center-back position to get up on Tristan Hodge. He was out of position. He could not allow Hodge to get past him there, or else there would have been a gaping hole in the 18-yard area.
Here's Erdman on the ball, the German. Talked a little bit about the experience that he can bring to this Colorado team. Colorado Springs with the 1-goal lead, courtesy of Michi Galena. An impressive, decisive finish. And they continue to be on the attack. They were before the goal, and they will continue to after. Carelessly given away there.
Yeah, Malik Johnson just losing his footing. But you're going to see that's going to happen again in the opening game of the season. But expect more of that from Malik Johnson, trying to take players on and either creating space for himself or other players on that far right-hand side this season.
That was a little bit precarious, just gotten away by Jeff Caldwell.
I love it. I love to see the goalkeeper so calm on the ball and almost becoming another centre-back.
Yeah, it didn't even, his body language wouldn't have suggested that there was a Orange County player breathing down on him. Ammo loses possession there. Here's Kaningas. He plays it out to his left.
Oh,
this one given away. Colorado Springs once again on the prowl. Galena tried to take it himself. And it goes off the back of one of those Orange County defenders. That's a scary moment.
well, Orange County is starting to wilt a little bit under the pressure. Some heads are dropping. You can see some tired faces out there now with the altitude starting to get to these players. And you can see that careless giveaway as a result of fatigue.
Early in the first half.
Yep.
That just goes to show it's a two-pronged thing, too, because it's not only is it the altitude and how tough it is to play in that, but then you pair it up perfectly with this Colorado Springs side that's constantly got you on your heels and constantly on your toes trying to make sure that you don't let anyone spring through. It's just a match made in heaven if you're the home side.
And Colorado are playing the perfect host game. They're dominating the ball, they're asking the questions, and that nibbling and pushing Orange County back on the ropes is fatiguing Orange County. So when they do actually get the ball, they have to think and react so quickly to find the outlet pass that eventually you're going to make a mistake.
Not a ton of possession in the offensive half for Orange County, and that continues what should be the majority or the entirety of this first half of action. On a bit of a more positive note for the visiting side, it's interesting to think about as Hodge goes down. Didn't look like that came from a hefty collision. It was just a bump with Kuningas, but he's clutching his ankle. So we've got a bit of an injury stoppage here. This injury stoppage brought to you by Centura Health. He's back up on his feet, and he's not even going to come off. Maybe just a moment of panic. You always worry with these turf pitches, too, that they don't just quite give as much as a grass pitch does. And here comes Orange County. Tony Rocha on the ball. Plays it into the middle. Iloski completely loses his footing. And that one will roll out for a goal kick.
One of those scenarios where Milan Iloski has not touched the ball for the better part of 15 minutes, finally gets a touch of the ball, and his first touch is so far away that allows the defender to completely dispossess him. And Orange County right now have no rhythm.
Michi Galena scored that goal, and he is the difference in this game. And sometimes you can say a player is the difference, and it's kind of hard to say that because a lot of goals are team efforts, but in the case of that goal by Galena, that's the difference.
That was special, absolutely special. Gets past Henry with the run, takes the ball down with one touch, and then the finish, sublime, just sublime.
Of utmost precision. And you can thank the ball that was served to him, but I think in this occasion, you can attribute this lead to the skill of one Michi Galena. So we're into stoppage time. Stoppage time brought to you by TikTok Shop. Didn't get a lot of ball there from Elvis Amo. As time is winding down on this first half. So adjusting will need to be done by Orange County, and adjusting was something that Richard Chappell had to do this offseason because we mentioned he came in halfway through the year last season as the head coach. So this is actually his first offseason at the helm. And he said that he's been a bit behind the curve and stretched thin because during the season, you're not really thinking about recruiting, you're not thinking about retaining, which is something you try to keep tabs on throughout the season, even when you're playing, because he just got into the swing of things. He was so focused on next game, and turning the ship around, and credit to them, they did. But then the soccer stopped, and suddenly you had to play catch up in everything else. And quite frankly, they did a pretty good job as far as retaining and obtaining. And he said they've had a pretty good preseason in the grand scheme of things, but I do not have envy for, I imagine, the amount of stress he was going under during these past few months.
Absolutely, but don't dispel how much Ronaldo Damas means to this team. Their way of playing relies on him being effective and catching teams on quick breaks because of his speed and, like you said, Mark, utmost precision. He's really good in the 18-yard box and can make teams pay when they give up possession.
It doesn't take a big window for him to finish it. And there is the whistle for the first half of action. Colorado Springs on the forefront the entire game. And although it looked like they wouldn't break through, Michi Galina enters the stage and puts in a fantastic finish, just tucking it away off the right post and in. Rakovsky couldn't do anything about it. And that's the difference in this one. 1-0 is your scoreline, and the fans can be happy about the product on the pitch. Orange County will have to do some thinking, some adjusting in the locker room to see if they could figure out a way to claw back into this game. But right now, it is all smiles at Widener Field. And with that, we have got halftime coming your way. Up next, we got a quick break, but then we will talk about some news around the league, talk about some stats, and then have the second half for you on the other side of this on ESPN+. And welcome back to Widener Field. The scoreline in favor of the home side, 1-0 to Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC. This scoreline brought to you by Widener. Right here at halftime, Mark Schoenster alongside me, Ryan Davis. It's the first weekend of the season. So for those who maybe have forgot about what occurred in the last year, we've got a chance to go back and look at some of the things that occurred. Neil Collins won Coach of the Year. And I mean, despite winning the championship, not winning the championship, had quite an impressive campaign.
Yeah, his second straight time to the finals, leading this team, and blowing past the opposition in the league. Rowdy's the #1 team at the end of the year.
Well, it helps to have the coach of the year as well as the goalkeeper of the year. You need two guys who are really solid in both positions. And, well, Tampa Bay had that in Loro as well as, of course, their head coach.
Evan Loro, his positioning and leadership at the back line was just, you cannot replace that.
Well, there he is, Haji Berry. In case you forgot on the broadcast, he is a goal-scoring machine. And what's most impressive is he hasn't really had a goal-scoring opportunity today, but he's been quite the facilitator.
Yeah, his game has changed a little bit with Elvis and more around, and Haji Berry just as influential without scoring.
Well, El Paso Locomotive look to continue what they built off of last season. They did lose their head coach this year, and they did lose in the first round of the tournament. So maybe trying to improve upon that this next season, not only doing well in the regular season, but in the playoffs. And Phoenix Rising, very much in the same boat in that regard.
Yeah, they're so good during the regular season because they're so dynamic in getting 3 points every weekend, which makes them at the top of the Western pile every single year.
Well, when we talk about someone who is at the top of the pile every year, Louisville City, a constant fixture in the playoffs, a constant fixture at the top of the tables. They just know how to run a program there.
It's called a winning culture, and you could see that with Louisville for the last 8 seasons. And talk about winning culture, Tampa Bay Rowdies, another team that has that winning feeling and winning environment throughout the locker room. All 23 players bring that, which makes them so hard to beat during the regular season.
And then, of course, Orange County FC. We already looked at their run, and we talked about their win in the championship, but it took more than just that final game. You had to get there, and there was a point in that season last year where it didn't seem like they were even going to make the playoffs.
They all put it together at the right time, and as a result of that, it got them right to the top where they most mattered.
Well, let's talk about our healthcare professionals of the match. Here we are. We're looking at tonight's honorary healthcare professional of the match. They are a proud Centura Health partner of Colorado Springs Switchback and serve Centura Health. Thank you for all you've done to help our community throughout the pandemic. The healthcare professional of the match is co-sponsored by Encore Electric along with Olson Plumbing and Heating. And this is the infection prevention group, so a huge shout out to all they've been able to do. And there's nothing we can do to properly thank you for everything you've done throughout these past few years. Well, with that, we've got some more halftime content coming your way. We're going to step aside for a moment, and then we'll take a look around the league after this right here on ESPN+.
Birmingham, and all the goal scorers getting in on the action today. Legion FC, how about that?
Sebastian Dogart from distance, and he drills it! Wow! What a goal!
I mean, yeah, that's how
Stop
it. Today when we go
Yo,
topics.
roll it down.
I am.
You don't need a car to listen to Sirius XM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What?
Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What? What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on Sirius XM.
What?
This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?
Birmingham. And all the goal scorers getting in on the action today. Legion FC, how about that?
Sebastian Dogart from distance, and he drills it! Wow! What a goal! Damas! He's got two! A shooting star for Orange County! And that's full time. The old guard with a new trophy. Orange County wins the USL Championship final.
And we're back here at Widener Field for more halftime content. Your scoreline 1-0 in favor of Colorado Springs. Let's take a look around the league. First off, of course, welcome back. It's USL Championship season, and we've also got some new faces to look at, and they're going to be playing here today and tonight.
Detroit City, I mean, they dominated NISA for the last couple of seasons. Will be really interesting to see how they match up in the USL. And of course, Monterey FC, all eyes on them to see how they handle their first 90 minutes in this league.
Well, here's how a couple of teams are handling their games today. Of course, Detroit City have started off against San Antonio, and then Monterey Bay will be playing against Phoenix Rising. They have to go to Wild Horse Pass, so talk about a tough first half, having to go to Phoenix Rising, and that's where you're going to have to test your luck. If I had to pick a place I didn't want to play my first game, that would probably be number one on the list.
Possibly the last person, but I guess the people who organize the schedules in USL didn't get the email.
Yeah, they don't have enough sympathy for Monterey Bay FC here, the union of sorts. And with that, we will step aside once again. When we come back, we'll have the highlights, the stats, and then the second half kickoff right here on ESPN+. You're not going to want to miss it. Can Orange County fire back, or will Colorado Springs keep a hold right here at Widener Field? And we're back for the second half of action, brought to you by Widener. Your scoreline, Colorado Springs Switchback FC 1, Orange County SC 0. Well, if you were unable to catch the action in the first half, here's a little quick rebuttal on everything that occurred. In the 26th minute, Orange County SC tried to prod, tried to make some things happen, but really didn't conjure up any really fruitful chances.
Yeah, no rhythm in the last third. Players are just sort of totally out of sync in the most difficult place to be in the last third. It's purely reactionary. So right now the players have no reactions to each other. That's why passes are going astray and runs are not being made.
And as things continue to go, Colorado Springs were on the front foot the entire game. This was the first real big opportunity. Was this offside? Your decision.
Well, Zachary Zandel, first and foremost, he can't control the assistant referee. He stayed on side. Excellent shot. But what about the save by Rakovsky? Just amazing. That's like as good as a goal on the other end. They would have been down 2-0 if it wasn't for that save.
Absolutely. And then this did count as a goal on one end. Here's the ball, which, credit to it, great ball, but then Galena, brilliant work afterwards.
Galena made the most of the pass. Cameron Lindley, good accuracy, trying to stretch the field, but Galena had so much to do. The chest strap, beating the defender, and that's one of the best finishes you'll ever see.
And as we take a look at the halftime stats, you know, sometimes stats don't paint the picture of how the game looks, but I think this one actually quite depicts how that first half looked.
Yeah, the 55% possession is really important to see the shots sort of combined with that. That means the type of possession they're having is penetrative and they're getting opportunities and testing the goalkeeper. So the plan is working perfectly for Brendan Burke. Expect more of the same. I just don't see Orange County bouncing back with this altitude in the next 45.
So the teams will switch sides and look to, in Orange County's case, switch their fortunes. And we'll see if they can find a bounce back or if Colorado Springs will hang on to this lead. 45 more minutes are on your docket. Mark Schoenster alongside Ryan Davis. This one played over to the left side. Cleared out, was looking for Galena there. It was Haji Berry.
You know, in this natural 3-4-3 formation, that means a lot of width is going to be used in this Colorado sort of makeup. And you can see them every time they get the ball. Look at that, they go right to the sidelines. And then they work from here, bring the ball back in. So they operate with their natural width in this 3-4-3 or 3-5-2 as the season progresses, but the width is definitely to their strength.
Now bulldozing his way forward was Milan Ilaski. Quick foul, quick retake. Colorado Springs back in the swing of things. Here's Berry. This is a dangerous spot for him. He gets tripped up, and that's a foul right at the corner of the penalty box. And they're gonna say it's out, but I thought that contact may have been initiated inside the 18.
I think the referee made a great call. Michael Orozco is complaining why I do not know. Just a great crafty play by Haji Bari. And no chance for Orozco to get any piece of that ball. Got all of the player. And that was, again, another easy call for the referee.
So we've got a free kick in what is a great spot. Some might argue a little bit too tight, but it's a spot that you could maybe go for goal, or you could put in a nice ball. And we'll see what they opt to do here. You've got Haji Berry, who is the one who drew the foul, and he'll also be the only one by it. Zandy's gonna get in that wall and maybe provide a gaping hole, and he'll lace this ball through. They go straight down the gut, but some good pace on that shot.
With the ball being so far off to the left, not much angle to work with there, so he goes to the goalkeeper's side, hopefully trying to catch the goalkeeper cheating over to the first post. But Rakovsky just so good technically. Easy save in the end. But it's important to put the ball on frame, make the goalkeeper make a save, and Haji Bari did exactly that.
Yeah, especially early in the season when they haven't had many saves to make.
Correct.
Granted, the first save Rakovsky had to make, we just looked at the highlights a moment ago, you wouldn't have guessed it's the first game of the season. Here's Berry making his way forward. Had some space, but it got closed off quickly. Winding up the shot, blocked away by Orozco. That's a nifty ball from Hodge, right on the dot. Now here's Torres. Went down in the first half, but he seems to be just fine now.
Well, with the high press from Colorado and Orange County getting smothered in their own half, Torres has to beat the first man and then take on 3 more because there's no one else. There's no other support for Orange County. They're right up against their own goal with no outlets.
And you're all bunkered down. It makes it much harder to be prepared to spring on the counterattack.
So even if you do win possession, there's just no outlets and nowhere to go.
That's a great touch from Johnson, able to corral that one in, followed by a not-so-great touch. And like you mentioned in the first half, he's still trying to get those touches figured out.
Absolutely, and it went with the shooting as well. So Malik Johnson definitely in that first game sort of groove. It's going to take him a little while to get going. But what about Hadji Berry coming back into that zone in between the midfield and the defense to try to play the operator, the orchestrator, and clip that ball beautifully to Malik Johnson.
There's no status quo with Hadji Berry. It could be so easy for a player who scored as many goals as he has to just sit and go, all right, if you get me the ball, I'll score, and sit at the top of the formation and just wait for the ball to come your way. But instead, he's taken on this more technical role of being the orchestrator, of being that maestro that coordinates his attack.
Yeah, and he's not really forcing the game. He's just playing within the game. He's running into that spot. If the ball is played into his feet, then he uses his skill to find space for others. But he's not trying to turn on players and try and take players on 1v1. He's just taking what's in front of him, which just makes him so hard to contain because he has such a level head on his shoulders.
Villanueva can only head that one back in the center. There's no one close enough to retrieve it, at least in an effective manner. Here's Acosta. He'll play it to the center. Orange County looking to shift their base forward and further up the pitch. They've got to find some form of threat, or else Colorado Springs will just be sitting on their throats this entire game.
Now, this is where Orange County have to operate. Right here, they have the advantage with those 3 midfielders, 1, 2, 3. When they go back out, though, they have to come right into this slot, right in the middle here. This is where they can advance the ball, where Colorado only have those 2 midfielders and the 2 wide midfielders spread out. So the 3 versus 2 in the middle of the park is where Orange County have to take advantage.
Well, that was a good exchange. Here's Johnson. Johnson with the finish, and it finds its way in. He had 2 tries, but third time's a charm. Malik Johnson gets that one past Rakovsky. It's a 2-goal lead for Colorado Springs.
Well, this time it's Elvis Amo dropping back now to play the orchestrator. Every time they drop into that slot between the midfield and the forwards, and that's where they're operating. The little 1-2. And what a finish by Malik Johnson, making up for those 2 misses in the first half. We talk about artillery, we talk about weaponry. Look at the simple 1-2, blowing past orange shirts. And then look about the cool finish past Rakovsky.
Talk about how wildly different that is from his first 2 shots. And that's, even again, was in roughly the same area in the penalty box, but this time cool, composed. I'm not sure what magic words were told to him at halftime, but
I think those were more reactionary. I think the other ones, he had a lot more time to think about the shot and then kind of muffed it. This one is purely reactionary, and so it's almost instinctual, just to keep your head down and put your foot through it. Great finish by Malik Johnson. But what about the build-up again between Elvis Amo and Malik Johnson? Just beautiful to watch.
An excellent combination between 2 new additions to this Colorado Springs side. Nearly pressured into another opportunity there. By the way, 2 goals now. 4 different players are on the stat sheet with either a goal or assist, and none of them are named Hadji Berry.
That's scary.
Yeah, look out.
Yeah.
Look out. I think very quickly people are going to be asking questions on how this team was placed 11th in the power rankings to start the year. Obviously, that's still a high honor, but with what this team composed and what they're demonstrating here today, this is a team that, especially at Widener Field, no one's going to want to play.
Yeah, with the style of play like you just said, I mean, it's just in your face and constantly niggling away at you. coming out wide, spreading the field, spreading your team out, and then allowing the individual talent to get the ball into crevices like this and then create opportunities. Again, you see the forward, Haji Barry, coming back into that zone and being that attacking midfield type player, and then spreading the ball back out wide, in and out and in. That's how they operate in Colorado.
So a 2-goal lead for Colorado Springs. 2 more than apt finishes from Michi Galina and Malik Johnson. As a foul is drawn on the other end, Olaski draws the foul, and Erdman gets his first yellow card of the season. The German going into the books in his first ever USL appearance. And that yellow card has been issued to Dennis Erdman. This caution is sponsored by Diversis Health, Mental Health and Well-Being for All. Remember to take a moment to breathe.
Well, no complaints for Erdman for getting the yellow card. His Rakovsky and Erdman just make sure it's man or ball. Didn't get any piece of the ball. So you know that means the man went flying. Erdman in the box gives up a free kick, but boy, that was important.
Another one of those moments where you go ahead and shrug and take the yellow.
The type of tackle, it's nothing, either the ball is not going to pass or the man is not going to pass. And in the end, Rakovsky ended up flat on his back.
The Californian, Milan Ilaski, his brother Brian, also on this team, is not in the roster today.
Like this angle is a little closer to the middle.
Ilaski with the curler off the crossbar. Cleared away. Could get headed back in. Oh, what an effort from Ilaski there. That was not even inches, not even centimeters, but grains from some glory.
That was all technique. One step run up and just got the perfect pace. All he needed was another inch of dip and it would have hit the underside of the crossbar and gone in. Great free kick by Milan Ilaski.
Just off by a molecular margin.
And it's exactly what Orange County needed, right? A goal from a set piece. They don't have much going on in free play and open play. So that would have been welcomed to equalize off of a set piece.
I was thinking the exact same thing before the kick was taken, that if they could find a goal here soon, then this game is not a lost cause. There's still a lot of time in this game.
And so many different ways to get the ball in the back of the net.
A lot of pieces at their disposal. We could talk about the weapons all day at Colorado Springs, but this is an Orange County side that also has a ton of potency. And there's a reason they won the title. You can't just win off of defense, even as much as Orange County would like to try.
Yeah. You know, credit to Richard Chaplow, though. He knows it's going to be a long marathon. He understands the scenario up in this altitude. A hungry, aggressive Colorado team. He's in it for the long haul. He's building his formation, his mindset of his players. And in the end, Orange County are going to be there in the discussion when it comes down to fight for this championship.
Mahoney chipping that one forward and able to bring it in. That's a great touch by Barry. But a tackle that was up for the occasion sends that one flying. Mahoney wins the ball right back for Colorado Springs. Now, you mentioned this Orange County team and how they're going to be in the discussion come the end of the season. And one of those reasons is because they are a scrappy team. They're a team that they'll get their hands dirty, and not in playing in a foul way, but just they're a team that's willing to do the ugly things, the things that aren't as aesthetically pleasing to get wins. And that's something that that this Colorado Springs team is trying to develop, because they play some pretty soccer, but they want to learn how to win some ugly games. And they played some games in this exhibition period, including against Northern Colorado, a team that's going to be in the USL League One. And Coach Burke said that that game felt like a fistfight, much like those games against Orange County, against New Mexico United, against San Antonio FC, against some really good teams in the championship. And he said that, I mean, we went down a goal and then we ended up putting 7 on them. And he said we needed those goals to send a message, less to the opposition, but for ourselves, that we're not going to get pushed around. Oh, nearly connected there with Galina. Rakovsky was able to intercept that one before became truly dangerous.
Again, Rakovsky's showing his pedigree. We talk about shot stopping with goalkeepers. What's the hardest thing to do? To anticipate crosses and to stop crosses. Rakovsky came right out, and it turned out to be the right decision. And just got his hand to it. Again, just showing his repertoire of goalkeeping skills.
Here's Lindley playing it forward. Amo gives it to Barry. A little tick and tack between the two of them. Barry still going forward, keeping his footing. Haji Barry tries to square into the center. He had Amo there. If he could just get past that boot. He had another genuine look on goal for Elvis Amo.
But boy, are they fun. I mean, Haji Berry, he's been passing the ball off, playing within the system, but every so often he does have that in him mark where he can turn on his marker, beat his marker, and take players on. And that's what makes them so hard to stay in front of, because they're willing to distribute, but yet they have the skill to take you on 1v1.
They can beat you with some combinations, and they can just beat you head on.
Correct.
So what do you prepare for?
I think you try to stop the 1v1 and try to make them make the extra pass.
Challenge them to go, all right, well, if you're going to beat us, you're going to beat us.
With passing.
Yeah.
You're not going to beat me just dribbling through me and getting it on goal.
We'll also see throughout the season where their tendencies lies throughout a game. Right now, it's easy to vary between passing and going at yourself when you've got a 2-goal lead and you have the chance to really be creative and free. When you're down a goal, which one, and when the chips are down, what are these players relying on? Is it going to be the passing still?
Right. I think, you know, at the beginning of the game, when things are fresh, they're going to stay within the game and pass the ball more often. But as their juices get flowing and the confidence starts rising, that's when they're going to start turning on their markers and taking players on.
And we've already seen that just in this game, of course, being the first game of the season for both these teams. You knew it was going to be testy in the beginning of the match, where both teams just trying to get their feet underneath them, trying to get adjusted to playing at a competitive level again. And already that confidence is starting to eke out of this Colorado Springs side as this one's teed in. Headed over the crossbar, Matt Mahoney. The center back looking to get in the score sheet.
Don't think this one would have counted, but it was a great ball in. Mahoney just couldn't stare it down. Had to believe it was an offside, just looking where the ball is being positioned for the free kick. Offside, but yet, again, Colorado asking the question. Again, putting Orange County back on the back foot.
How about some of these services from set pieces from Cam Lindley?
Yeah, it starts to get better, right? The first couple of them just didn't get past that first bit of defense, that wall of defense, but now he's really starting to find his range with the dead ball accuracy.
Cam Lindley coming over from San Antonio FC, where he was already a good piece of that great San Antonio FC side that made it all the way to the Western Conference Finals against this Orange County side. As Orange County prodding here, looking to make something happen. Here's Villanueva. Looking for the right cross. Instead, he'll just play it back to Rocha.
You talk about out of sync. We just saw Torres get the ball with a little bit of space. Didn't know if to pass, or to shoot. He just looked really like undecided. And as a result, it was just such a futile attempt.
Couple substitutions coming the way for Orange County. Looking to change some personnel and at the very least get some more feet playing this season and get some minutes under their belt, but in the positive and the more optimistic side to change the perplexion of this game. Because it has been 62 minutes and about 61.5 minutes of it have been all in the favor of the home side.
Yeah, Colorado staking their claim. This is our town. This is the first game of the season. We remembered what happened in those playoffs. There is no way you're going to come out of here unscathed. And they took the fight to them. They had a couple of opportunities that Malik Johnson did not capitalize on. But boy, what a goal by Galena to take the pressure off of the players and realize, okay, we're going to be okay. The ball's in the back of the net. Now we can play our game. And things have completely opened up. And Colorado are going all downhill. Now look at the changes Orange County have to make now as a result.
So we've got Eric Torres, his debut in the USL. He's coming out for Sean Okoli, who was definitely part of that run last season. And then Daniel Peterson coming in for Alex Villanueva. And both these substitutions brought to you by William J. Hibble Sports Medicine and Performance Center. Learn more at hibblecenter.org. So Okoli coming in for Torres, Peterson coming in for Villanueva. And we'll see how the two of them in their first minutes this season can leave an impact on the game.
Well, not the kind of debut that Torres would have wanted, but you can't really blame him too much. That's more of Colorado doing the business and stifling this Orange County team. And also we talk about this Orange County team just does not seem to know who to start right now, who to claim those positions. And he's waiting for Orlando Dumas to get back on the pitch to form a combination up top.
Colorado Springs pushing forward once again. When you see them running with that head of steam, you have to hold your breath. It's dealt with on this occasion. Orange County able to handle it.
It looks like Galena really felt it, as he hit the deck. But what you don't want is to have these players turning on the defenders continuously and taking them on.
And Galena still down on the turf. This injury stoppage brought to you by Centura Health. The first goal scorer in today's game. A magnificent tight window finish. You can come up with any adjectives you like. Needless to say, it was cool, it was collected, and it was chock full of poise. So hopefully he's doing all right. Once again, even if he was able to score that goal, it's everyone's first game this season, so maybe some muscles that haven't been worked the way that you're used to them working, kicking in right now.
And there's no substitute for natural grass. As much as we love the turf, it can play in all weather conditions. When you hit that turf, the cushion is just not there like natural grass. And players are going to feel it a lot more when they go down.
So it looks like Nalina is going to walk this one off. And that's one goal scorer that's walking off the pitch for now. And the other goal scorer is going to come off the game here soon in Malik Johnson. Doesn't look like they're going to execute that substitution just yet. You see Johnson on the pitch still, but he will make his way off in a moment. You can see Nalina on the sideline making his way over to the halfway marker. And it's cleared away.
Nobody likes pressure. From grassroots soccer all the way to the professional level, you can see the pressure on these defenders. Not much time to react.
Can't think things through. They've got someone in their face immediately.
Correct. But notice how Colorado pick and choose when they press. Now they're getting behind the ball and resetting. That in itself takes rhythm, defensive rhythm.
Ball's cleared out. It's going to be a Colorado Springs throw, and there will be a substitution. And this one's an interesting one, because Malik Johnson comes out of the game, and FC Cincinnati loanee Ben Mines comes in. And this is more interesting than you might think, because Mines was actually loaned to Orange County last season and was a part of that run to the championship. So now coming off and going up against his former team from just last season. This substitution brought to you by William J. Hibble Sports Medicine and Performance Center. Learn more at hibblecenter.org. Ben Mines, 21 years old, from Ridgefield, Connecticut. Had 3 goals and 13 appearances last season for Orange County.
You know when Ben Mines got that loan, that he got the green light to go to Colorado, and then he saw what the first game was. You know he's been waiting for this moment. He's been walking behind the coach for the last 60 minutes just to let the coach know that he's there, reminding him. And now he gets his chance. Malik Johnson, great game in the end. Had a couple muffed chances at the beginning, but got the all-important second goal to allow the players to sort of not relax, but feel comfortable in their lead. And now Ben Mines gets a chance to come out here and really try to put some energy and some emotion into this right side to try and finish this game for Colorado.
You almost prefer the way this game went for Malik Johnson than for someone to come in and maybe score a goal immediately off of maybe a fluke or of some sort, but for someone to struggle a couple of times, maybe see some mistakes and then
correct them
and make it happen. Oof. Beneficial this early in the season. And we've got another yellow card. Jimmy Ockford, one of the other defenders, collecting one for Colorado Springs. And we'll take a look at what earned him that. And yeah, I mean, that's a rogue cleat going straight towards a body.
Well, when you're the center back and you cannot allow that person to get past you to make a run, Ockford is going to do whatever it takes to stop that ball or stop the play.
This caution is sponsored by Diverse's Health, Mental Health, and Well-Being for All. Remember to take a moment to breathe.
Thank you, Mark. I really appreciate that.
Good job.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yep, I got it.
You know, I think that a good moment to breathe is right after you get issued a yellow card to make sure you don't lose your head against an official. I want to let cooler heads prevail as here's Ben Mines. Had one great first touch just a moment ago when we were talking about him, a little of a back heel flick, and then making something else happen and drawing a red card out of Danny Acosta.
I wonder if the Orange County Coach Chaplow then starts to think, I wonder if we let Ben Mines go a little too quickly here. Look at that, excellent. We talk about emotion and energy coming into finish this game. Gets right up on top of Danilo Acosta. And I think he kind of sold the referee that foul. Acosta goes into the book. I think the referee got that one wrong in giving Acosta the yellow card.
Well, this caution is sponsored by Diverse's Health, Mental Health, and Well-Being for All. Once again, remember to take a moment to breathe. Acosta now in the books. And Ben Mines making an impact immediately after getting subbed into this game. Lindley's ball gets a touch from Ockford. Check that Mahoney. And it will roll out of play.
Still not the best ball from Lindley. You want that ball to be leading. You want that ball to be heading, leading your front line. You don't want them to have to be looking backwards for the ball. So I think he's going to have to work a little bit as the season progresses to start being more accurate on his deliveries.
You don't want them to backtrap. You don't want them to stay idle. You want them to run towards your ball.
Correct. Let the ball lead them, right?
Well, he's getting a lot of reps at it here today. A lot of set pieces for Colorado Springs. And that is a thumping check. Giving the ball right back.
Uh-oh.
And that's another yellow card. Try to figure out who that was issued to. Because if it was given to Erdman, that would be a second yellow.
Yeah, I'm thinking Zachary Zandl, but referee making it very clear once that... Oh, it's Lindley.
Cam Lindley will be given the card. Maybe some unkind words exchanged after the fact. Because there is Erdman coming in. Nice old body check.
Yeah, you cannot do that. The ball does not belong to you. It belongs to the other team. You cannot stick your foot or stand in front of it.
Cam Lindley has been issued a yellow card. This caution is sponsored by Diverse's Health, Mental Health, and Well-Being for All. Remember to take a moment to breathe. You knew this one was going to get chippy with the mentality that at least Colorado Springs was going to come into this game. They wanted something to prove. And, I mean, if you're a team with any sort of pride that I know this Orange County team is, then you're going to reciprocate that when you get tested.
But what about Dennis Erdman, though? He's now coming here on 2 infringements. He's let Orange County know.
Flag will go up on Elvis Amo. We've already had 2 newcomers score on their debut. Amo trying to be among them. The flag will foil his efforts here, as it has on several occasions today.
And you don't mind that as a coach. You want that forward to constantly have the center back backtracking, moving, second guessing. And it's okay to have that offside call every so often. It means that your forwards are moving and keeping the midfielders busy.
I mean, you gotta get that timing honed down, and also, even if it doesn't accomplish anything, it sends a warning, a message to those center backs in particular.
Yeah, and it has your midfielders, it gives them targets to work with when your forwards are moving like that.
let your Cam Lindleys, your Zach Zandys get a chance to tee up those balls for you. Well, it hasn't been quite the same result as that playoff fixture a couple months ago. You could tell there was a smirk on Richard Chaplow's face when talking about the game, because he said, and I quote, "It was satisfying to keep that offense at bay." And I knew he was smirking on the other side of that phone line when he said it. He hasn't quite had the same success here today.
And I understand that everything kind of plays into Colorado's favor here. It's in Colorado, and so they're playing in the altitude. And this team has their sort of have their players more set than Orange County without Ronaldo Dumas. So, but still, Colorado just so dominant in this performance thus far.
Over to the left side, once again pushing forward. Galena trying to connect with the Mo. Here's Haji Berry. Haji Berry, 25 goals last season, one-on-one with Rakovsky. Tries to get by him, Rakovsky. What an interesting transaction right there. Rakovsky showing some twitching movements, some savvy, not scared in the face of who scored more goals than anybody last season.
We saw the unbelievable 1-1 stop in the first half against Zach Zandl. We saw the stop on the cross, and now we saw a one-on-one save at Haji Berry's feet. He's given us the entire repertoire tonight, Rakovsky.
So as we take a look at what occurred here, this is the perfect camera angle. Shout out to the camera crew on site.
Look at him staying with the plate. He's not selling himself, Rakovsky, and then uses.
And here we look at the injury that took place. Galena suffering a collision from Tony Rocha. This injury stoppage is brought to you by Centura Health. Galena gone down a couple of times today.
You know, the hit was late, but Tony Rocha was almost there to commit. He had every right to commit for that challenge. Galena just passing that ball. The referee couldn't call it back because Barry had an unbelievable chance. So could not call the foul there. But it was a tough hit from Tony Rocha on Galena.
And it's 48 degrees out, which isn't as cold as it can be at this time of year in Colorado. We were talking to Coach earlier. There was a blizzard just earlier in the week over in Colorado Springs. So, I mean, count your blessings. It's 48 degrees.
All right.
No precipitation in sight.
Who you think gets paid more, the Colorado weatherman, the California weatherman, or the Florida weatherman?
Oh, that's tough.
Yeah.
So we got a couple substitutions for you here. Korede Oshudina will come into the game in favor of Seth Kasipli. Meanwhile, Hunter Gorski will come in for Danny Acosta. Gorski just announced as a member of this team just a couple days ago. Has played in a couple of places in his professional career. This and both substitutions brought to you by William J. Hibble Sports Medicine and Performance Center. Learn more at hibblecenter.org. Ockford on the ball now. And here come the Switchbacks once again, looking to find another one of those potent strikers, Haji Berry in this case, inside. What a talented bevy of players they have at their disposal on the offense, including a couple others sitting on the bench, including one who's going to make his way into this game here soon. Another one of those acquisitions from the offseason, Carlton Belmar, waiting to get into this one, played with Sacramento Republic last season.
If you're Orange County right now, you're looking for that small victory, that nice build-up to create a legitimate opportunity. You can't score 2 goals with 1 shot. You just want to create one opportunity here to get some confidence going in the last 13 minutes.
This ball lobbed all the way up the pitch. And Jeff Caldwell, whom this is exactly the kind of debut that Brendan Burke was looking for in Caldwell. I asked about him And he mentioned that Jeff Caldwell's a very tuned-in guy, very intelligent and way more athletic than he was anticipating. But I thought the interesting angle he had on Caldwell was he said that he doesn't really want him to be a leader or to be our savior. He wants to be a guy who just sits between the sticks. Every now and then it has a solid performance and makes some saves, but I think ultimately he wants him to be bored back there, and that's kind of what he's gotten today. As we got a substitution here, Carlton Belmar will come in for Elvis Amo. Amo with that excellent assist on the second goal. Belmar, 5'11", born in Virginia Beach, coming from Sacramento Republic. This substitution is brought to you by William J. Hibble Sports Medicine and Performance Center. Learn more at hibblecenter.org. Also coming in, Beverly Makangila for Cam Lindley, who put in a good shift. I think it was a learning shift for Cam Lindley as well. So the 24-year-old will come out. The 22-year-old midfielder will come in as his replacement.
Whoa.
Oh, look at that. Some filthy work from Milan Olaski, but couldn't catch up with it.
But you like that, Mark. You want your forward to be adventurous. In the last third of the field, you're okay if the ball gets turned over there. You want to see that bit of adventure. That's the kind of play that's going to create an opportunity or a chance for a Coley who's playing alongside Olaski right now.
Milan Olaski was last with the Real Salt Lake and Real Monarchs, so kind of switching between the two. And then made his way to join his brother Brian here, as this one connects with Kuningas.
Oof.
Just barely kept it in play, and actually, not barely, he didn't keep it in play.
Don't ask Kuningas, though. He wouldn't agree with you. But again, it's the pressure on the ball, and the player's just not up to speed right now, not up to game speed. For Orange County especially, Colorado just seems so much more prepared. And let's leave that up to the attitude, because we know Coach Richard Chaplow is going to have this team prepared before this game. But I really think the attitude and the attitude of Colorado has made a difference.
It makes you wonder how this Orange County team will look when they play next weekend against Rio Grande Valley, when they go back home to Championship Soccer Stadium, when they don't have to deal with playing at Widener Field. How they'll look and maybe how much more fit they appear, as it were, in that game. But of course, that's a week from now. We still have got 10 minutes and change to go in this one. We've got another player down. It looks like it's Tristan Hodge. A little slow to get up. Your guy from Trinidad.
Yeah, Tristan Hodge has been solid. Plays left back for Trinidad, but they play at a 3 center-back position as formation as well with Trinidad and Tobago sometimes. So he's very used to playing the wing back or wide midfield position. So it's a coach's dream to have a versatile fullback / wing back.
And this injury stoppage is brought to you by Centura Health. And so he'll make his way off the pitch, but he's going to get waved back on here soon. He's ready to go. He just has to be allowed to enter the green once again. And there he is, trotting his way on. Olaski brings that one down. He finds it, and once again, Milan Olaski tucks this one through. It gets past Jeff Caldwell. And they haven't rung the bell yet. It's a goal for Orange County SC, and their first of the season coming from Milan Olaski.
Well, we've seen some individual special plays in this game so far, and Milan Olaski just add to that. What a finish that was by the number 7. The Colorado players got caught by surprise. They stopped. He didn't. But what about capitalizing on it? And he did exactly that. Just stroll through with some instinctual striker play. Gets past one there. They all stopped. Calm as you like between the legs of Jeff Caldwell. And guess what? It's 2-1 with 8 minutes to go. That's the one piece of special play that Orange County was hoping for to make this game interesting, to raise their confidence and give themselves a chance.
Well, Rakovsky, also credit to him for being that aggressive in the 82nd minute of a 2-0 game, to continue to be pushing, to continue to be going. So we've got Albi Skendi coming into the game for Orange County. This substitution brought to you by William J. Hibble Sports Medicine and Performance Center. Learn more at hibblecenter.org.
Well, Orange County exhausting the bench because of the high altitude. Players are tired, and look at trouble here.
Another chance hand transition, played towards the center. Rakovsky! And the challenge from Matt Mahoney. What a tackle from the center back.
Game-changing, game-saving tackle by Matthew Mahoney. Amazing tackle from the center back. Was left for dead as the ball got turned over. He did not give up on the play. And what a timely tackle that was. Rakovsky, who just scored, would have buried it.
And how about Orange County pouncing on some attacks here? Got to be careful to not let something leak through on the other end, but...
And Mark is exactly their MO. They stick around, they wait around and try to counter press and make mistakes at the back and then try to get easy goals like that.
A crucial tackle from Matt Mahoney. And this one knocked out of play. Let's take a look at that again. Okoli rolling it in the middle, great ball. And Mahoney just getting there a little bit faster. I don't think Rakovsky was aware of how quickly someone was tracking him down. So he was a little lackadaisical going towards that ball.
Yeah, full credit to Mahoney though. The speed that he got back there. He was angry, but the only reason they were all out of play was because the ball was given away.
Yeah.
All the defenders are out of position now. What a chance for Orange County to get this thing back to 2-2.
Zach Zandy is sitting on the turf. This injury stoppage brought to you by Centura Health. Might begin to see some gamesmanship here to hold on to this one, but seemed to be so stellar and confident a win from Colorado Springs. They got to make sure that they don't squander this at the last moments.
Yeah, I think Zach Zandy knows exactly that. He's just taking some time, having his players sort of collect themselves as Orange County wants this game to get going. They want the whistle to blow so they could get back free playing and have the ball rolling again. And all Colorado wants to do is just stop the play right now, let the clock tick by.
And Zandy's going to come out of the game, and Steven Echevarria is going to sub in. It's his second year with the program, coming from Slate Hill, New York. Steven Echevarria, once again, subbing in for Zach Zandy. This substitution is brought to you by William J. Hibble Sports Medicine and Performance Center. Learn more at hibblecenter.org.
Echevarria definitely knows his way around the New York district. Played for the New York Red Bulls too as well.
4 minutes plus whatever we get in stoppage time. Here's Barry shipping it to Galena. And that's a tug right there, bringing Galena down. No foul called. Some indignance from the fans in the stands.
I think he went down too easy, Mark. The referee was right there on the spot, got a good look at it, good no call.
Things up in the air like other times. Here's Okoli. Over to the goal scorer, Rakovsky. Has a player to his left. He gets it to Kaningas. Kaningas squares it back into the middle. It popped up, cleared away.
Offside.
The flag did go up. What a moment, though. Either way, Kaningas in a great spot, trying to serve up the best kind of ball he could conjure. Rakovsky.
It was a sort of a pass, trying to find a Coley, but it was too close to the keeper. Caldwell gets a piece of it, but it wouldn't have counted anyway. As soon as Kaningas released that ball, Okoli was already in an offside position. But what about the bigger story? Orange County coming right back into this game, and now Colorado are just trying to limp to the finish line.
We've got a yellow card on the new substitute. Steven Echevarria made the tackle, crunched into his opponent, we'll take a look at that one again. And he just came crashing in on Kevin Partita. A yellow card has been issued to Steven Echevarria. This caution is sponsored by Diversis Health, mental health and well-being for all. Remember to take a moment to breathe. Maybe hard to do so right now if you're a Colorado Springs fan.
Especially with the high altitude, Mark.
Everybody's too busy holding it, absolutely. Orange County once again on the press. Stood well firm. And one back by Colorado Springs. It's cleared upwards. And I think that one hit one of the frames in the roof and pinged straight back down into the stands. Keep your head up.
Well, how can a goal change a game? Well, we saw what happened with Galena in the first half. It opened up the game. It allowed Colorado to get confident. They got their second. Rakovsky gets a goal. It changes the complexion yet again. Now Colorado, all that confidence has turned into doubt. And Orange County has some confidence. They're getting scrappy, and they're winning every 50-50 tackle. Their passes are crisper, and their players are running with energy off the ball, creating chances, creating doubt in Colorado's back line.
And even if it isn't doubt, there's at least tension. There's a stress. And as you said, maybe that they'll get another one and we won't get all 3 points. A good first test for both these teams. How about this for a first showing?
A little bit of a miscommunication between Akoli and Rakovsky. And Caldwell taking his time here for as long as he could.
Couple of touches here. One back by Barry. He'll play it out to his left. They'll look to kill some time as we hit the 90-minute mark. And we've got 6 more minutes. Stoppage time brought to you by TikTok Shop. This one's far from over, folks. And here's Akoli. Maybe intending to lay it off to Rakovsky, but instead finds Kuningas. A bit of a sputtering ball. Partita inside to Peterson. Still holding on to it. Orange County will look to find the optimal angle to score this or take a shot at this goal. You know that any time that ball rolls over the byline like that, it's going to be a goal kick, and they're going to take their precious time.
Oh yeah, at this point, Caldwell needs to kick the ball out to the sides. The ball cannot go down to the middle, out to the wings. Even if Orange County wins the ball back, it gives the team time to get compact into the middle.
This one chipped forward. No one's there to make the run that's appropriate for that measure. Caldwell will continue to wait until a man is there to prompt him to pick up the ball.
You know, when Colorado was at their best in this game, was having the ball go outside to Malik Johnson or Tristan Hodge, have the team react, the Orange County team react, and then find their way with the ball back into the middle to Haji Barry's feet, as you've seen right there. In and out and in, and that's a foul on Kuningas.
Ben Mines once again drawing the foul. He's just the kind of guy, you can tell how light on his feet he is.
Well said, Mark. He's so nimble. Great ball control, quick feet.
And we've got a yellow card issued to the bench here.
Tell you what, referee Badali has used that yellow card with great efficiency tonight.
And that is a yellow card that's issued to Brendan Burke, or the coaching staff of Colorado Springs. This caution is sponsored by Diversis Health, mental health, and well-being for all. Remember to take a moment to breathe.
This is trouble here. Orozco is already on a yellow card. Let's see what the referee thinks here. He gave Orozco a yellow card for something less in the first half. Just a free kick.
Nothing's going to come of it. So I said earlier in the game, after the first goal, that Colorado wasn't going to be content with scoring a goal or even winning by a goal, that they were going to continue to try and score goals to send a message to Orange County. I feel like this is one of those times. Oh.
Smart play. Smart play.
Cooler heads prevailed.
Let Orange County work for every possession, and Kaningas is throwing his arms and pushing the player without challenging for the ball, and for some reason, the whistle is not blown.
Incredible. Half of the stoppage time has transpired. Oh, some gamesmanship here. That should earn a card, and it will earn a card. Carlton Belmar will go into the books. This caution is sponsored by Diverse's Health, Mental Health, and Well-Being for All. Remember to take a moment to breathe. I thought the first kick was already kind of taking it too far, and then he decided to give it another touch a moment later.
I'm glad the referees are consistent with players trying to get a hold of the ball from the opposing team and kick it away or standing in front of it. There's no room for that in football.
That is not a bad ball. Sailing in, punched away by Caldwell. The volleyed up shot follows. Maybe left something to be desired. Still something there, chipped upward, cleared away by Mines.
Great save by Caldwell, completely taking the pressure off of his centre-backs with that punch.
Here's another ball seeking forward, bouncing around. And they're not able to track this one down. It should be Orange County throw. It will be. Just over a minute of the allotted time to go. Here's another cross. Sailing inside, punched away.
No foul, no call from the referee. Caldwell just leveled in that scenario, in that sequence.
No protection for the goalkeeper. 1 minute to go. Orange County continuing to push forward, trying to make something happen, looking to snatch away a point at the last moment.
Oh, beautiful.
Good little touch from Peterson.
Beautiful.
Another ball chipped forward, looking to connect, headed away. And cleared out for another throw. 30 more seconds.
They're committing so many orange shirts here that the Colorado defenders and midfielders are not picking everyone up.
Rakovsky is knocked down. They're going to call him for a dive. It's going to be Colorado Springs ball. He got knocked over. They're going to say play on, and he got his hands on it.
Well, referee Badali didn't call for the foul on Caldwell, and now he stays consistent and does not call for the foul on Ilowski. Ilowski is angry, but the referee was consistent with the last two challenges.
And that's all you can ask for, whether you disagree with the philosophy, as long as it is applicable to both sides at any occasion. And there's your final whistle. They say that revenge is a dish served cold. Well, it's not quite freezing temperatures here in Colorado Springs, but the job has been done by the Switchbacks. An excellent 2-1 victory for the home side to start off the season against the opponent that knocked them out last year.
What a performance by the home team. We look at Orange County. We look at Orange County's desperate play to the end. But what about this play to begin with? Ball played between Henry and the centre-back. And this man, Galina, takes the ball down. And one of the best finishes you'll see all season long comes for the first goal for the Colorado season. Galina, play of the match. Moment of the match.
Unreal stuff. This critical moment of the match is brought to you by Centura Health. And then, of course, the artist of that wonderful goal will also be our player of the match, Michi Galina. The votes have been put in. The Better Business Bureau man of the match is, as I mentioned, Michi Galina. Read verified customer reviews and check business ratings at bbb.org. We're going to step aside for a moment. When we come back, we'll collect our final thoughts on this one before finishing it up on ESPN+. So do not close the tab or change the channel just yet. There are some fireworks on the pitch during the 90, and there's some fireworks after. It was a 90 minutes worth celebrating if you're a fan of the Switchbacks. Mark Schoenstler alongside me, Ryan Davis. Your final score, Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC 2, Orange County SC 1. It was quite the performance, and this scoreline brought to you by Widener. This player's walkout, as we see them celebrate with the fans, is sponsored by Children's Hospital or Colorado.
What a great shot that is. Never forget, it is all about the fans. And look at the players going right across. And here they are coming out in the field to begin this incredible home opener and season opener for these two teams.
A fantastic performance from the home side, and now we get to look at it in its heightened, compacted highlight glory, starting off with our play of the match. What a ball from Lindley, but that ball only to be topped by the finished product.
He had so much more to do. Great pass, like you said, a trap with his head, then a trap with his chest. It took him further away from the goal with no angle, and then somehow kissed the inside of the goal to give this Colorado team what they needed, confidence to go along with their possession, and that opened things up.
I mean, I tell you what, that's a goal worth that kind of celebration too.
If only I could do that. But they didn't want to. This time Elvis Amo, Malik Johnson, and then the calm finish by Johnson, who finally righted his wrongs from the first half and got this one past Rakovsky. And now Colorado in the driver's seat, 2-0 up and sailing.
Well, I tell you what, we had 3 goals in this game, and all 3 of them were very collected. You could not say that, you know, they just gave it a shot and put in some hope. These were collected, very well thought out finishes.
Yeah, Brian Rakovsky just being very opportunistic here. Look at the little bounce back in his path coming from Zandy, but look at the calm finish pass. Caldwell to get this team back in the game. They made it all muddy, but they brought Orange County right back in it.
As we take a look at the full-time stats here, the possession actually swung. It was 55% for Colorado Springs coming out of the first 45 minutes, going all the way over to 53% in Orange County's favor. It was a lopsided stat line, but just in a couple of moments, like 10, 15 minutes, Orange County really fired back into this game.
Yeah, it was 5 shots to 1 in the end of the first half. Look at them. They outshot them 6-3 in the second half, Orange County, and that's only because of the last 15 minutes. They made the waters muddy, and that fell right into Orange County's hands in the last 15, but an excellent 75-minute display by the Colorado Springs Switchbacks. Deserve it, 2-1 winners.
Well, Orange County will look to bounce back next weekend. We'll go home to play RGV. Meanwhile, the Switchbacks will stay at Widener Field next weekend to play the new side, Monterey Bay FC. But for today's action, that is all we have got for you. For our entire broadcasting crew and Ryan Davis, my name is Mark Schoenster. Thank you for tuning in to this opening matchup between Colorado Springs and Orange County SC. Until next time on ESPN+.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.